All right, it's always a wonderful, wonderful moment. We got a lot of wonderful moments every year at Churchill Downs, but when we get to celebrate the victor in the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby, it's very, very special, and to have the winning connections here, it's marvelous. We don't have everybody here. Jockey Javier Castellano is riding in this race, and we should all obviously run and place a bet on that horse before we get started here. But we're thrilled to have the winning connections for Cathryn Sophia, the winner of the 142nd Longines Kentucky Oaks. Feel free to apologize to Long. Cash is King LLC is the owner. Chuck Zacney.
Yes.
You prefer Chuck or Charles?
Chuck, please.
Chuck, please. Chuck Zacney is the head of that operation. John Servis, whom we know here at this racetrack from a wonderful day back in 2004 when Smarty Jones won the Kentucky Derby for John Servis. And I asked John, I knew his record at Churchill Downs was pretty good, and he's now 2 for 4 lifetime at Churchill Downs, 1 win in the Kentucky Derby, 1 win in the Kentucky Oaks, and John said he's not going to bring another horse with him ever again. He has a perfect record now, things haven't gone. And then much to my delight, we have discovered that Cathryn Sophia McCary, but it is Cathryn Sophia. So you can make a connection here, ladies and gentlemen. The namesake of the Kentucky Oaks winner, Cathryn Sophia, is here, and we're thrilled to have him here. So again, congratulations to all.
Thank you.
We'll start with John Servis first. And then John, just me and you talking, forget all these guys here. I think she'd go 1.8 miles. I'm pretty confident now she's going. You had questions about distance with her, but did not show that was not an issue today.
No, she's matured so much mentally, and she's learned to settle. I mean, down the backside, she was just galloping along, so relaxed that I felt pretty good. I don't want to feel too good early on in the race, but I felt pretty good where we were.
She won. She was unbeaten until she went to the Ashland last fall when she ran in Maryland. She won her races by open lanes, 14 and 16, I think was the margin. So knew you had a talented filly. We're disappointed at Keeneland. In retrospect, looking back at that race, looking at this race and how she ran today, was it tactics or is it just her maturing and coming together?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. You know, it turns out the best thing that ever happened to her was the day at Gulfstream when she got left at the gate, and we realized, you know, how well she settled in behind horses. You know, with Songbird, you know, as talented as she is, it looks like if you want to beat her, you're gonna have to hook her early. And you know, if she'd have run, I don't know, because if we do that, then you're changing her style, and now you're messing with her head. She's maturing, she's learned to settle, and now you're gonna put her out on the pace to try to soften up another horse. So, you know, with Songbird being out and her coming into this race as good as she was and how she learned to settle, we were feeling pretty good.
Well, we'll wish the best for Songbird down the road.
Absolutely.
But in your case, it's really good when things work out.
Yes, it is.
Again, now 2 for 2 in the classics here at Churchill Downs, the Kentucky Derby, and I'll get a chance to think about it a little second before I ask you how these two, at least bookends, kind of compare. I'll go to Mr. Zacney and say congratulations on a wonderful filly, and were you prepared for this kind of effort today from Cathryn Sophia?
I really was. Talked to John pretty much every day since the Ashland, and he was just so confident in his filly. I was cautiously optimistic, but every time I talked to him, he just, his confidence was just bubbling over. I think it happened probably with her work about 2 weeks ago. She did about 112 for 6 furlongs, and he was just thrilled to death. So he felt pretty good going into this race. Obviously, an extra 16th was a concern after the Ashland, but the way she was training and all, we felt pretty good.
It was a good race. We're obviously proud of it. Where does it kind of rank for you? Is this a very good moment in thoroughbred racing for you?
Absolutely. Well, I had the pleasure of being part of the ownership of a fleet Alex back in 2004, 2005, and he won 2/3 of the Triple Crown. But as far as fillies, obviously this is very, very special for many reasons. I was looking for a Maryland-bred horse back in 2014, went to the Patsy Tipton sale, and you know, picked her out. She wasn't a big filly, but she was athletic, and we got it for $30,000. And what a bargain today.
Exactly. Nice return on investment. $1
Yes, it
million
is.
overall purse today. Mr. Zacney, again, your thoughts on winning this race. You've been here with
Yeah.
Fleet Alex running a huge race on that
so
day.
this was terrific. She ran a great race. John had her prepared, and Javier gave a great ride, and the results were there. I think we won by about 3 lengths. We're thrilled to death. Prior to coming up with a name for the horse, I always talked to the trainer and I said, John, what do you think? And he goes, yeah, she's got some talent. I said, good, because I want to name her after my niece. She's a little spitfire, soccer player, and so she certainly demonstrated that today.
I don't know about you guys, it's been my experience in racing, if you name a horse after a human, they're either slow or really healthy and stay slow for a long time. This one breaks the rule, so congratulations. We'll be anxious to see what she does. John, just your thoughts on where this filly has come from. Does this performance surprise you?
No, I mean, from her first race, we knew she had a lot of talent. Again, obviously, how far she would go was always in question, and the maturity that she's shown in the last 3-4 weeks alone. I mean, she's just made determined for the better, and she's been terrific.
You really should come here more often. You've got one for each spire now. Let's see what happens. All right, let's open it up for questions for John Servis, the winning trainer with Cathryn Sophia, Chuck Zacney of Cash is King, and the actual Cathryn Sophia. There's so many questions you might have. Tim Sullivan.
John, I wonder if you could elaborate on the calculation with or without Songbird, and if you had not run here, what would your plan?
Well, I don't want to make it sound like we ran from Songbird, because if she'd have won the Ashland, then we'd have certainly run the Oaks with or without Songbird. I had a little reservation when she got beat, when she rolled up there at the head of the lane like she did, and then didn't go on. And I'd always had a little bit about how far she'd go, just because she's not your typical looking two-turn horse. Street Boss is more of a sprinter sire and was a sprinter himself. So you always have that in the back of your mind.
And where would you have gone if not here?
Probably to the 8 Bells. If we didn't go to the Oaks, we were planning on, if everything went well, doing the 8 Bells and then maybe the Acorn.
Tom Perdue.
For John and Chuck, what does it say about the game that you can win an Oaks with a $30,000 purchase?
Well, it says the game's great. I mean, this isn't the first time those kind of things happen. I mean, look at Seattle Slough. There's been a lot of really, really good horses that were bought and passed for for different reasons. And somebody took a shot and bought them, and it turned out really well. This isn't the first time, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last. We're just tickled to death it turned out for us.
Yeah, it says everybody has a chance. You look at some of the numbers of the horses in the sales, and a lot of them are over $1 million. And here we were picking the Merlin bred out for $30,000, and then we're winning the Kentucky Oaks. That's pretty impressive.
John Clay.
John, what does it feel like to be back here 11 years or 12 years after Smarty Jones and to win this race?
It feels terrific. I mean, I went into the race today feeling really good. And I can tell you, I mean, if we would have got beat, I'd have felt really good, because I knew my filly was bringing her A game, and I knew she was going to run well. And if we got beat, we got beat. That's just the way it was going to be. But it's nice to know that you're going into a race like the Oaks and a race like the Kentucky Derby with a little powder in the gun.
Jason Price.
John, I think you'd said earlier in the week that this filly is a little tougher than others to handle. Can you elaborate?
Not a little. No.
How difficult is it?
I'll give you an example of how tough she is. She came back from the racetrack on Thursday, and she went in the stall. We put the crossbar up. My son was in there with the blanket. The exercise boy got off of her, was taking the tack off of her, and the groom was in there with the halter ready to put the halter on her. And I was standing at the end of the barn talking with somebody, and next thing you know, I see 3 bodies fly out of the stall. And so now I go running down, I go, what the heck's going on? And the groom pulled the bridle off before the exercise rider is supposed to pull the bridle off. The groom pulled the bridle off, and when he did, as soon as he did that, she just wheeled around and bit him right in the stomach and threw him out of the stall. And now she's loose. He's got the halter, he's out in the shed row, and my son and the exercise boy, all they knew is they would get the heck out of there. So we end up having to get down. Now I got a hot horse in the stall, nothing on, and you're not just going to go in the stall and get her. So we got a scoop of feed, and we messed with her for a little while, and she finally came to the front and was nibbling at the feed, and we got the halter on her and got her out. But she's a handful.
Should be the most difficult you've ever had to deal with?
Yeah, you know, she's not, I don't want to make it sound like she's meant, she's not crazy or like that, she's just mean. You know, and she's not like that really out of stall. But when you're in her stall, that's her stall, and, you know, I get a call at 8 o'clock at night one night, the groom, you know, we put the night sheets on earlier in April when it was cool, can't catch her to get a night sheet on. So I had to get people over there, and I can she's run a lot of people out of the stall, I can tell you that.
Guess we should feel fortunate she was out on the track instead of the winner's circle today. 'Cause it might have been her winner's circle.
Well, she's pretty good about, like I said, out of the stall, she's good.
Out of the stall.
The great thing is, she carries that attitude to the racetrack.
A quick note before we go to the next question. Attendance at the Kentucky Oaks today was a record, 124,583. 124,583 beat the record that was set last year, 763, 123,763. Your winning time, 1 minute 50.53 today. Question right here.
John, did the whole Smarty experience help you? I know it's been 11 years. I know you once told me that you didn't have dinner reservations, and after Smarty won, you had to take out pizza in the hotel lobby. You got dinner reservations tonight?
No. It wasn't broke, I wasn't gonna fix it. I did not, I did it on purpose too. I called a couple places and they were booked earlier in the week, and I thought, you know what? It worked pretty good last time, I'm not even gonna worry about it.